Hello, everybody. How are you doing? As you can see here, I am joined by the wonderful Reisshub. Reese, we've come to the end of the season. As you guys are
We
watching
have.
this, I'm not sure. The new season would be like most of you are probably just starting to play, starting to download, whatever it might be. But it's been one of the shorter seasons, right? The past couple of seasons of Fortnite have been incredibly long, but this has been the shortest one we've had in a long while. Um, but based off of a lot of the community feedback, I don't know how you feel. It's not been one where people are feeling good about it competitively.
No. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm glad it's over. Let's just leave it. I don't want to say leave it at that, but like that's the entry statement, right?
yeah.
I'm glad it's over. It's been the shortest in terms of duration, but it's felt the longest. I feel like we've
Powerful.
had people indeed people last season, right? They kept saying this is something that I found funny. People are always like, we've had 2 seasons of solos in a row, right?
Yeah,
We didn't. Last season was just duos, and then at the end there was like a week of doing solo
yeah,
invitational, right?
yeah,
Or for like the people who weren't doing well in it,
yeah.
obviously, because they didn't make it past the opens. And then, but for some reason, that season still felt shorter than, and I don't know like actually how long it was in comparison
That
to this
season
one.
was weird because it was one of them. Like, do you know what it was? I think with that season, and I
Mm,
think this is why a lot of people will be like, we had solos back to back. That season was so long that it made like when we did the switch to solo invitational, it felt like a new
mm.
season. Like, so
Maybe,
that's why
yeah,
like it feel to people it feels like, oh, we've had 2 seasons. No, like I'm pretty sure in terms of actual duration, that was the longest season of Fortnite ever. But
yeah,
this
potentially, but it still
this feels,
felt
yeah, yeah,
shorter.
exactly, yeah. This feels like a
you
longer
know,
season. Like competitive solos has just not been amazing for a
you
multitude
know,
of reasons.
yeah, yeah. I think not the main reason, but one of the main reasons is just the way it was crammed into 2 weekends.
Mm,
Like, I know we may go over some more actual laid out points, but fundamentally being crammed like the four qualifiers into the 2 weekends just made it feel odd, and the rest of the season had pretty much nothing apart from a couple cash cups, dailies and all that kind of thing.
yeah,
So like the real competition was kind of lacking. Obviously, there was like the odd Booga Cup and all these kind of like,
yeah. Which
which was
were a
cool to
nice
give
touch.
them.
Yeah, they were a
Yeah,
nice touch.
definitely, really cool to give them. But like, I felt like there was still a lack of structure in terms of competitive, right? Because you're missing out on like everyone's there for the FNCS. That's the main goal for the majority of people for the season, right? That's what most people care about, and it just was all crammed to the end, which I think really dragged it out for a bit.
Yeah,
And that's from like a competitive standpoint. I'd say that's why a lot of people felt like it was so long, but it's done. And obviously the meta wasn't good, but
yeah, yeah.
you know.
From obviously you're someone who with the content you put out,
Mm,
you're doing a bunch of VOD reviews, right? You're watching the game,
yeah.
you're consuming a lot of the game. What were the kind of key things that stood out to you this season when it comes to like competitive that you were like, that this is just a staple of this season, the competitive. Um,
I mean, it's interesting you say staple because obviously, let's be real, crash pads are going to be the number one thing, right?
yeah,
Like, the crash pads are always going to be the thing that, to me, I don't want to say ruined or soured the season because there was a few things, but like I feel like that is probably one of the most frustrating things from people every level. So like from, well, maybe not the complete noobs, but like when you're playing intermediate players, these people can still crash pad into your box.
yeah,
They can still do all the exploits without, you don't even need to be good to do these kind of things. And
exactly.
like if you play arena, you play tournaments, you're always going to face people crash padding and into your box, making really dumb fights. And like that was something that I was definitely saw like, well, by far the most consistently was like, people will take crash pads over most things. And at the start of the season, people were like, oh, peppers or crash pads, peppers, crash pads.
Yeah,
And that was one of the things when we talked to Savage, he was obviously saying, oh, I like peppers and all this kind of thing. But like overwhelmingly large percent of the players were hugely using the crash pads for these reasons.
yeah,
Easy rotations, easy elims. It's like, they were such a free item. And it's like, it's something that I really hated in terms of box fighting skill because box fighting has been built up so much over the seasons. And obviously, we'll say Epic maybe seems to be trying to lower that skill gap a little bit. But fundamentally, the crash pads ruined a lot of the skill element of it because you just phased into someone's box, got the shot off on them first, and won easily. So
yeah,
that's like, I know that's probably not the worst thing because Mythics made it more frustrating. In particular, obviously, Kit's loot uh, and the Shockwave launcher making honestly playing any scrim end game just not fun from like an average competitive player like me, right?
yeah,
I don't want to play an end game scrim because if I take height, even we were playing some last night for trios just for fun. Took height, like we're in a position to win, we have the mats, shockwave launcher, we lose. You know, that's
Yeah.
it. It's like instant lose. So it's like those two things definitely were the most prevalent in terms of like difficult to fight and frustrating, just things that I didn't like personally.
Yeah, no, and I 100% agree with you. Like, you're a lot better than me at this game, and even me,
Well, yeah, of course, of
the
course.
player I am,
Yeah.
when I played, any sort of Fortnite this season where there was some form of end game, if I didn't have kit, I was losing, and it was one of the most frustrating things to play against.
It is.
I don't see any level of Fortnite where that is enjoyable to come up against. Is
No.
Other than kit and crash pads, is there anything else you want to see voted looking into next season? Are there things that you want to see come back into the game?
Well, obviously, we're all going to be looking to see what the shotgun meta is going to be like next season. You know, like I've flipped and flopped my opinions a lot over the last season because when the charge came out, I even made a meme video saying I hated the charge shotgun. I said it took 10 seconds to fire every shot. It was horrible. But obviously there's a learning curve to that gun and
Yeah.
it is awkward. Let's be real, it doesn't fire instantly. It's weird to use. So the charge shotgun is something that, and now at this point, like I feel like it's probably the most balanced shotgun that's ever been introduced on release, right? There's been almost no tweaks to it apart from the ammo, right? For the purple and gold went up one, right?
Yeah.
But damage, distance, it's like it all balances out well with a new difficult mechanic to use. Like I feel like it, if you're in a box against attack, even though the attack got massively nerfed, chances are you're still going to lose to the tank player. So like the shotgun meta in terms of which shotgun to take was still relatively balanced because people still ask me to this day, which one do you take? Which one's better? Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. So like at this point, the charge was, it's something that I hated, now I like, and I hope they don't get rid of it in all honesty, because I don't think they want to vault it, but I do want the pump back. And you can have a shotgun meta that has 3, but then with the shotgun, with the pump being a 2 times headshot damage, it's not going to be balanced at all then, because pump's going to be superior. So there's definitely like some discussion to be had on how that all balances around and what's better because of that,
Yeah, I thought what was really interesting and in a way disappointing was the fact that we had a lot of top players, talking about how using attack or charge wasn't just down to situation; it was down to just server lagginess.
That's true. Yeah.
We're playing competitive at the highest level. You shouldn't have to be making decisions based off of the fact that you think it's going to be too laggy to use this weapon. That's one of the things where server performance is something that I feel like we've taken a step backwards with. Hopefully next season is a step forward. But staying on the topic of like top players, right?
Yeah.
Who this season has impressed you? Who are you looking forward to watching into the next season?
So, firstly, and straight away, we talked about this a little bit before we were recording, but ARKHAMS from NA West, 100% someone that I'm going to be watching. Obviously, like a bit of a smaller region, so it's obviously not everyone's first pick, we'd say, but his consistency throughout FNCS solos has been absolutely insane.
Ridiculous.
And, I've had all the stats, right? But I can't remember them off the top of my head. But like, it was someone who really, really, really wanted to see succeed and continue to keep that momentum up. I was very, very impressed with the watch. So from there, from NA East, I feel like it's been a difficult season for that region because there's so many different players who have been all over the top 100. I don't feel like there's been someone who's been like consistently dominant, we'll say, this season on NA East. Can you think of anyone off the top of my head? I don't follow region as much.
When it comes to consistent dominance, nobody that I can think of off the top of my head. There's been people who have had a regular top performances, but in terms of like, ARKHAM level of dominance, nah,
no one's close to that. That's why he obviously stood out to me so much. I think OCE and I think DeJinx, who's been dominating nearly every FNCS he's been in. He won duos with Cakewood, so maybe there was some assistance on that one. But still, he dominated there. I can't remember what he did in Invitational off the top of my head, but I'm sure he did well there. And obviously now he's won solos. So going into trios, I'm not sure who he's going to trio with, if it's Worthy and Gubos, but I don't know if Gubos is still playing or whatever. I covered them in a trio video from one of the Cash Cups. They were super dominant all the way through the dailies and the trio Cash Cups at the time. Again, a smaller region, but like someone I really want to watch out for in that region, which is really impressive. EU, has been interesting because there's been a few big names we've seen pop up. We've seen Rezon, who is incredible. And I mean, I say pop up, but like be more prevalent this season. Rezon, who's been incredibly consistent, definitely was my favorite to win the solo FNCS. Noah Riley, again, who's popped up, been an incredible fighter, someone really consistent throughout all the weeks. And obviously, we can't not talk about Tayson and Janice. Obviously, Janice won FNCS Invitational last season, and then Tayson has won this time. And those guys' kind of performances, winning both of those, if you look at their like game history, was just incredible to watch the consistency that they had. So it's obviously those are all the players I'm going to be looking forward to going into trios and how they build their trios, who they trio with, and there'll be DreamHack every month. So how these players continue to be consistent next season. Really looking forward to hopefully a good meta change that we can kind of keep an eye on some of these players from.
Yeah, that'll be great to see. I'm not going to hold you too much longer, Reese. So appreciate you. Sure. Hopefully we'll see
Appreciate you too, my man.
We'll get a chance to talk to you more throughout next season. Be sure to go check out Reese's VOD reviews, guys. If you are terrible at the game, which it's likely that you are.
Yeah. Highly likely. Based on the comments I received, chances are you suck.
Exactly. So go hit the VOD review. Go watch Reese's videos. His link will be in the description. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. See you later.